This is The Miller's Edge with Christian Miller, two-time national champion and team captain for the Alabama Crimson Tide, and former Carolina Panther, and his father, Corey Miller, the pastor of pain, a 9-year NFL veteran with the New York Giants, and University of South Carolina Hall of Famer. This is The Miller's Edge.
And welcome into this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, and back on YouTube. We are live streaming on YouTube again. I see everybody rolling in on here. Crystal, yeah, Kenyo, I haven't seen you in a while. Flowers, good to see you back here again. Hope everybody is doing well. Again, it's Talking Tuesday. Sorry, I'm getting a little distracted reading the chat. Mimi's in here. Wow, okay, we got our regulars coming back. Good to see everybody, man. Looking forward to it. Again, we got some fun stuff to talk about today. You got the 2025 SEC softball tournament kicking off. I'm trying to get in contact with my partner in crime, Gray Robertson. He's actually with softball right now. You know, he calls his games, and me and him actually do the post-game show for football. So we've got boots on the ground there, and I was talking to him yesterday. As long as he can get an open window, he's going to call in, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. Alabama actually kicks off, get this, guys, round number 1 against Auburn. And that's tonight at 6. So we'll talk a little bit about softball plus some other topics, to come up today that I've been reading into. And we didn't get into this last week, Chase, when it came up. And again, for our folks over on YouTube, if you're new, Chase is is the guy running the ship. That is Chase behind the glass. So Chase, we didn't get into to this topic last week, but obviously Trump was here doing the commencement speech along with Nick Saban, right? Well, allegedly there's some conversations being had surrounding college football. We always talk about, hey, what needs to happen, what's going to happen to save college football. Well, Coach Saban seems to have taken advantage of that opportunity when he was in the presence of President Trump, and looks like they might have had some conversations. There's been some things coming up, some people responding and reacting to Coach Saban, kind of putting a little, I guess, bird in Coach Trump, President Trump's ear about NIL. So we might dive into that a little bit and see kind of what comes from that, because there's a lot of different opinions here. Some people think it's the right thing. Some people are all for it. Some people are against it. So we'll definitely dive into that as well. Plus, always going to talk some football. We're going to continue looking at post-spring teams. Again, I also need to remind you guys too, spoke with our buddy Josh Pate, who will be joining us Thursday to talk college football post-spring. You know, he's doing his tour right now where he's traveling around talking to all these coaches across the SEC, really college football, period. Had a stop back here in Tuscaloosa. I think it was last week. We listened to that interview for the most part, but we're going to have him on the show, and we're going to get his thoughts post-spring, how college football is looking, where everything stands. I got to ask him about this Clemson football team. Me and Chase talked about it last week, and actually yesterday, I should say. We were talking about looking at the mock drafts, and a lot of people have a lot of Clemson guys on these mock drafts. So I'm definitely going to have to get his thoughts on this Clemson football team, because if you ask me, it looks like they're definitely trending in the right direction. They might be a hot team this upcoming season after having a couple years of a little bit of a slump, I would call it. But that being said, I got to remind you about our friends over at the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport experts. Try before you buy, nothing to lose. If you guys are dealing with any type of pain, whether it's foot pain, knee pain, back pain, you name it, you got to check them out. Right here in Midtown Village in Tuscaloosa is where you can find them. I'm telling you, these things are game changers. You don't have to be a former player like myself, even though being a former player, obviously I was dealing with all types of pain. You name it, I had it. But thank God I stumbled across the Good Feet Store. And all you do is you pop these in your shoes. I'm telling you, whether it's running shoes, boots, you name it, and they will take care of that pain. 4 weeks, they are clinically proven to do so. So you got to check them out. Give it a try. The best thing about it, other than them obviously getting rid of that pain, is try before you buy. So you literally have nothing to lose. You can just go on in there, check them out, do a whole orientation, all that good stuff, explain it to you. And as you can see, I threw this up on the screen here over on YouTube. But They'll take great care of you. First class customer service. I love them, and they've been great for me. So I want you guys to get those benefits. Plus, you can always go to their website, which is right here, goodfeet.com. Find the nearest location to you, schedule an appointment. Again, that is the Good Feet store, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. Excuse me. Let's look at this chat real quick, Chase. We got Yakangi Flowers in here. Crystal, hey, how are you? Good to see you again from yesterday. Mimi, like I said, she's one of our regulars. Good to see her back in here. 116 days into the first game of 2025. You're right about that. And we can kind of talk about that. Maybe we'll look at the schedule a little bit here throughout the show. Ricky's in the chat. Ricky said, go ahead and start that podcast. Hey, man, we're like I said, we're back rolling on YouTube. It's just fun. It's kind of cool just to have all the audience all together. So we're going to remind you guys, too, obviously, we take calls, 205-342-9904. It's a Talking Tuesday. So the game plan is to get everybody lined up on the phone lines. You guys are the co-hosts, right? On Tuesday, especially, we like going to you guys and getting y'all's thoughts on everything that's going on in the sports world, I should say. Chase, you know what? I realized we haven't really talked much playoff basketball. Have you been keeping up with that at all?
I have. I love NBA playoffs. NBA the season, man, not so much. But when it hits playoffs, Christian, I watch every game I possibly can.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie too. I'm guilty of that too, man. Like literally, I don't watch hardly any regular season basketball games. I got like uncles and stuff. Like they sit there and they'll watch almost every game that comes on. Me, not so much. But then when the playoffs come, I'm locked in. But now that LeBron's out, I know this is going to just, I get it. I'm a LeBron fan. But now that he's out, I'm kind of like, eh. But I will say, the young bull, well, 2 of them, really. I love John Morant, but Anthony Edwards, dog, man. He's a dog. And he's hilarious, too. He is unapologetically himself, without a doubt. But great basketball player. But yeah, maybe we'll talk a little playoff basketball here in a little bit. But anyway, I definitely want to kick off with that whole Saban Trump thing. We always talk about Coach Saban coming back and maybe being, like I don't know what you call it, like an ambassador, not an ambassador, but what do we call him? Or like what will be the term, Chase? Like the I don't like the overseer of college football, right? I don't know. Maybe we'll see that, and that's what we're going to dive into. But first, we got to hit this timeout again. Got to remind you guys, 205-342-9904 is the number. Any questions, comments, or concerns, hit us up. We want to talk about it. You can always download that Tide 100.9 app completely free. You can find it on the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, all that stuff. You can drop app messages there. Or obviously, if you're hanging out with us on YouTube, drop those questions right here in the chat. And we'll discuss it here live on the show. All that coming up and more right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art sport experts. Quick timeout. We'll be right back. Got a little commercial break, guys. So let me see what we got here. I don't know, Ricky. Maybe we'll start a podcast for sure. I don't know. I mean, this is kind of like a podcast. Granted, we're doing live radio, but I get what you're saying. Let's see. Go ahead and put this up. Let's see if I can find another one of these articles. Let's see who steps up as leaders on the defense or leaders. Great question. Great question. We'll hit that. I'll definitely hit that coming up. That's a great question. There's a couple guys that come to mind immediately, especially with so many people returning. I'll be honest with you. Defensively is definitely, I guess it's probably, I wouldn't say easier, but you definitely feel better about just having guys already, right? Just because there's so much, the rate of return is so high, right? But yeah, I'll save that answer so we can talk about that. Maybe, but really good question. I appreciate that. Let me star that. Yeah, you definitely hit. Yeah, those two guys definitely. Yeah, great question. We'll hit that when we come back. Yeah, if you guys, just like Mimi did, if you guys got any questions like that, please drop them. Especially, today's a Talking Tuesday. We like just talking about a bunch of different things. And hopefully we'll get some good calls coming in too. Y'all are welcome to call in too. We can do it all. Let's see. I need to pull this article up. I forgot to share this on Twitter. If you guys got any people that you think would be interested in watching, go ahead and send that link to them. I think that definitely be great. And obviously, drop a like if you haven't, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, let's see. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Definitely add that to it.
On Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Again, it is a Talking Tuesday, so we are encouraging you guys, per usual, to hit us up. If you got any questions, comments, whatever it may be, 205-342-9904. We definitely love taking calls the whole way. Plus, going to the app messages and now even our YouTube chat. We've got a great question from Mimi that we're going to hit here in just a second. But I mentioned the whole Trump and Coach Saban kind of getting together while they were here in Tuscaloosa doing the commencement speech for the graduates. And so I want to start there real quick, and then we're going to go to Mimi's question. Obviously, we got Ricky lined up on the phone lines, and we're going to keep on rolling. But I just want to kind of just get into this, and maybe we'll divert. We'll just throw it out here real quick, and then go to you guys, because I like going to you guys while you're here. I don't want to leave you guys waiting. But this whole thing with Coach Saban and Trump, Chase, have you heard much about it? Have you read into it yet?
Just a little bit. I know that Trump, obviously he came to Tuscaloosa, has had his commencement, but kind of the aftermath of it is kind of shaking people's heads. So I'm curious to learn a little bit more about it.
Yeah, man. So allegedly, Coach Saban kind of just was like, "Hey, man, I got this opportunity. The president's here in town. Maybe I can kind of just ask him, to do a little favor or see what he can do regarding this whole circus that we call NIL." But I'll be honest, Chase, the response to it has been a little interesting, and I was kind of shocked. And here's why: you normally think about it. We always talk about all the time. Everybody, when they mention Coach Saban, I mean, they talk about, "Hey, man, we wish this guy would run for politics." Anytime he speaks, normally, and I say normally because for the most part, everybody responds accordingly. Everybody, is very respectful of any opinion he has, other than the crowd that always tries to be negative, like, "Oh, well, he took advantage of the system and now he's trying to limit others from doing what he was doing." But that's a load of crap. Just like he said, this is what would happen if we did NIL. And remember what everybody said, Chase? Everybody said, "Oh, he just doesn't want people to have the same. He don't want the playing field to be level, right?" But no, he was 100% correct, because look how quickly it went from NIL to pay for play. That's literally what this is. I mean, NIL is name, image, and likeness, right? What is going on in college football is not name, image, and likeness. Is there some of that? Yeah. For example, you guys hear the Jalen Milroe advertisement. That's name, image, and likeness, right? Because Jalen Milroe is actually, he recorded an ad that's being run on a radio station, and he's being compensated for it, right? Matter of fact, he drives a nice TRX, one of those nice trucks with those big old engines in it. I'm pretty sure that was part of the deal. That's name, image, and likeness. But having a player put his name in a transfer portal, then receiving $400,000 to transfer, then okay, I want to go to another place. For example, I am Aliava's brother, right? I know we've talked about that a good bit. Let's bring that back up. First, you had I am Aliava who said, okay, I wasn't happy with 2.4 at Tennessee. I'm going to go seek elsewhere. I want to get what Carson Beck's getting. I want to get what that other kid's getting. They're in the $3.5, $4 million range, allegedly. What happened? Well, it sounds like he had to settle for, what was it, like 1.5? So $900,000 decrease in what he was expecting to get from Tennessee. Plus, the taxes out in California are a whole hell of a lot more than they are in Tennessee. If anything, Tennessee might not even have state income tax, if I remember correctly. I don't know. Regardless, a big difference. That being said, that's not really NIL. Like if they have certain things in the contract that's saying like, all right, we're paying you X amount of money for X amount of appearances, you doing X amount of podcasts, social media posts, all this stuff, that's one thing. And they do include that, but it's not to the extent that you would think. So what I'm getting at is that's what NIL is, or should be. But these guys are taking advantage of it. I mean, his younger brother, he flipped from UCLA to Arkansas, went to Arkansas for, I guess if he got there in January, he was there maybe 3 months, never played a snap. I guess he technically went through the spring, but then entered the portal again. And now they're going after him for $200,000. Something obviously needs to change. Coach Saban was, I guess, discussing with Trump briefly, and it probably wasn't in depth. They didn't have time to meet. I mean, you know how that works. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the motorcade, but I mean, when he comes in, he does a speech, they're getting out of there. It's not like they went and hung out, right? But allegedly, you got some people that aren't really feeling it. I mean, I'm looking at one article here, and allegedly, this is an NIL attorney. It says Saban Trump executive order discussions, unmerited interference from a coach only seeking to protect the system that made him tens of millions of dollars. I don't know. And I guess this guy is Steve Berman, a co-founder and managing partner of Hagen's Berman, representing a class of hundreds of thousands of current and former student athletes pending in the $2.78 billion settlement with the NCAA, including a revenue sharing provision worth of at least $20 billion. Settlement is still pending in court, but expected to be finalized soon. Is that the same settlement that's supposed to be coughing up me and all my other former teammates some money? I don't know. I hope so. What's crazy is, Chase, they didn't, man. I'm so glad. I can't remember who told me about it, but I'm so glad they did because we didn't really hear much from anybody. It was almost like you just kind of heard word of mouth, hey, they're doing a settlement. If you played from this year to this year, you're eligible. Anyway, still waiting to see what comes from that. But you see what I'm saying? You've got some people that clearly feel like it's an interference of him trying to, I guess, meddle in something that helped make him a lot of money. And to me, it's definitely, I mean, it's clearly not that with Coach Saban, man. Like, he's not even coaching anymore. You get what I'm saying? Like, I just, so you would have to be just one jealous, salty person to say, okay, I benefited from this. Now I'm done. I'm trying to take it away. No, he's trying to fix the sport that we've all, grown to love. And now we're seeing it completely, well, I wouldn't say completely fall apart, but it feels like that at times. Look at the spring, Chase. I mean, the spring game, and again, I know this is a little bit more on the portal side, but to me, it all just starts getting lumped together, right? The spring games, they're not really spring games anymore, which I didn't have a really problem. I really didn't have a problem with that. Honestly, I get if it is for a competitive reason, so be it. I'm not mad at that. But still, I still believe NIL has something to do with all this change. And you just tell, I mean, like literally the spring turnout for A-Day was just totally different. And I get portal was probably a bigger factor than NIL itself, but they're all linked together. What I'm getting at is things are just changing in college football. And the reality is what these guys are doing in college football, as much as I am a supporter for players, right? The problem is what they're doing is not, you can't do that anywhere else. In the NFL, you can't say, oh, I'm not happy with this. I mean, you can sit there and try to get traded and request a trade, but you're under contract. You can't just up and leave and take the money with you like that. So I don't think it's teaching the right thing. I think Coach Saban's just trying to save something that really needs a lot of help because nobody's doing anything else. NCAA sitting there with their hands behind their back and kind of understand part of it. I mean, they're facing the settlement. They're probably a little more cautious to try to step in and do things, but at the same time, right now, it's a mess. So I guess my question is, I mean, do we see Coach Saban actually get something done? Where, I mean, he's trying to work with President Trump on this. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be an easy task. I mean, you need a lot of dominoes to fall. But, I mean, I'd argue that if anybody's going to have some influence and find a way to get it done, it probably would be a guy like Coach Saban. Now, when does this happen? I don't know, because I feel like, Chase, we've been talking about this for how long now? I mean, how long have we been talking about fixing college football? If anything, I feel like we've gone in the opposite direction. Things just keep kind of opening up. So I'll be honest, I don't know if it works, but might have been a situation, right place, right time. Trump, Saban, both together at that commencement speech. Maybe those conversations will be enough to spark it. I mean, we know one thing. I mean, Trump's not afraid to throw out orders and all type of stuff. I mean, he marched to the beat of his own drum. So I don't know. Seems like he likes Coach Saban. He was very complimentary of him. So I'd imagine that he'll definitely try to see what he can do. Now, I don't know the extent of it. According to this CBS Sports report right here, it says Trump is considering an executive order aimed at greater scrutiny towards name, image, and likeness deals in college athletics, following the meeting with former Alabama coach Nick Saban. Obviously, Saban, who's a vocal critic of NIL's impact on college athletics, reportedly proposed NIL reform rather than elimination, which is clear as day, right? He's not trying to eliminate it, right? I don't know why anybody would even feel that way. He's not trying to eliminate NIL, right? He's always said, like, he understands and believes that players should be compensated. I've even always, even when I was talking about, well, this was a while back, I was in like grad school, about the whole kind of Olympic model, right? Just let people capitalize off their name, image, and likeness. If you're going out there and you're building a name for yourself, I'm not saying that you're not supported and receiving a lot of benefits from playing at the university, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you go out there and perform well, you're going to create a name for yourself. You're going to create value for yourself. That's what it should have been. It should have been left at that. I don't know why it opened up into allowing people to pay in advance before guys have even done any of that, before guys had true value. But that's just the way it is. Continues on to say that they both were in Tuscaloosa for the commencement address. An executive order would likely still need congressional action. NCAA President Charlie Baker told Dennis Dodd in April, a potential order comes on the heels of a landmark case. However, there are details to be ironed out. Looks like a judge, Claudia Wilkin, threatened to reject the settlement last month, citing roster limits. Tommy Tuberville of Alabama, previously had stints Ole Miss, Auburn, Texas Tech. I'm sure you guys are familiar. Spoke with Trump as well about NIL, and he also said college football is the heart and soul of America, but it's in danger if we don't level the playing field. So there's that. I'm curious what y'all's thoughts are on that. I mean, do you think something actually gets done? I know we talk about this time and time again, but here they have it, as you guys can see, if you're on the stream on YouTube. Trump, Saban, shaking hands. Obviously, they met and talked about it. So we'll have to see. We'll keep talking about this. I'm going to dig into it a little bit more because I want to see if there's anything else that came from it other than just, hey, that's their plan. I want to know some more details. But I guess we'll find out soon. Real quick before we hit this timeout. Mimi says, I really think Coach Nick Saban and most everything he does is pretty meditative and does things with a purpose. He knew what he was doing when he attended the graduation. I mean, that's a fair point. I mean, to be fair, which I'm not even going to get started. People criticize, oh, well, he spoke, but you already knew that was coming, Chase. After the whole backlash over the Eagles stuff, people mad that some guys went, people mad that guys chose not to go. I mean, in this climate, especially this political climate, it's a lose-lose situation. But I wouldn't be shocked if, he had an agenda like, hey, I got an opportunity to, not like he can't pick up the phone and contact one of his buddies because he has a close friend that he grew up with that's in politics, but not like he can't just pick up the phone and, he's already been to Capitol Hill and done meetings. But it's very convenient. They're already at the same location. Why not have a quick little chat, see what they can come up with? But who knows? Hopefully Coach Saban does get something done. But I definitely, I hope so, because college football is changing drastically. All right, we got to hit a quick timeout. When we come back, we go to the people. I just wanted to get that out the way, get that on y'all's mind. If you got any questions or if you got any response on that, let me know. Let me know if you think Coach Saban actually will be able to make some change. He's starting to get the wheels rolling. I know he's been to Capitol Hill before, but he's not giving up on his efforts, clearly. So we're going to hit this timeout. We come back. We go to the phone lines, 205-342-9904. We got Ricky up next. We got some messages here in the chat that we'll read throughout the show. We're going to keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Get access to speak to Trump about it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see if something comes from it. I mean, anytime soon, I don't know. But we will see. And we're going to get back to your question about the leaders. That's a really good one. I just wanted to hit that real quick, and then we're going to come to it. First, we're going to go with Ricky, but I promise we're going to get to it. Let me see if we heard back from Gray so we can get some updates on softball. Oh, perfect. All right, good deal. So Gray is good to go. 12:30. Next 30 minutes or so. All right. Let's see. All right, maybe we should get Gray on here first. I don't want to leave Ricky waiting though. We'll get him for okay. All right. Yeah, we can do that. Good deal. All right, good deal. We're going to hear from our buddy Gray Robertson, who's on the ground in Georgia for that SEC softball tournament. And we'll also get his thoughts and some other stuff as well. So looking forward to that. Plus, we're going to go to Ricky here in a second. Good deal. All right, let me see. I should share this link while I got a second. Appreciate all you guys hanging out. Again, if you haven't liked the video, share it, all that good stuff. Subscribe if you haven't. It always helps us out. Again, we're going to get back to doing this every day. So we've been doing the radio show for a few years now, but the goal is to just consistently do this as well at the same time, plus some extra stuff like we used to do in the past. But for all you guys that like a visual, right, like to see more than just hearing, listen on the app or the radio show, here you go. Okay, let me share this. Hurry up. Let's see. All right. Here we go. Coming back here in about 20 seconds. We're going to Ricky, and then we're going to get Gray on here, and I promise we're going to get y'all's questions from the chat. I'm saving them too, so even if it's not right away, we're going to hit them throughout the show.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. It's a Talking Tuesday, so that means we're talking to you guys. 205-342-9904 is the number. Going to the phone lines here. First up, we got Ricky. Plus, when we just a quick reminder, we're going to hear from Gray Robertson, who's actually at the SEC softball tournament. He calls games for the team. Plus, he's my partner on the post-game show, so we're going to hear from him at about 11:45. But first up, we got our buddy Ricky. Ricky, welcome in.
What's going on, guys?
What up, Ricky?
All right, man. So check this out.
Right.
I've been watching like all of these talk show heads. They come out with their top 25 going into post spring or going after post spring, and I see a lot of like Ohio State, Texas, and Oregon like in that top 3, and Alabama being somewhere between like 8 and 11. So I can understand maybe Ohio State, possibly Oregon too, but like Texas, right? My theory, or I guess it's not really a theory, I guess I just wanted your take on it. Texas, this past draft, lost their right tackle, their left tackle, their guard. Like a lot of their heavy hitters in their trenches are gone. And Alabama's biggest issue to me, or still is, or at least questions for now, is our offensive line. I'm not really totally sure on the quarterback play. I still got faith in Ty Simpson. But I don't know. And to the coaches, it wasn't like as clear as day in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But Texas is kind of going through the same thing we're going through. So what does everybody else see in Texas that I may be missing?
Their quarterback.
I know everybody's high on Arch Manning.
Yeah.
Like, I know everybody's high on Arch Manning, but like he's never played as like a. Well, yeah, he started a few games due to Quinn being hurt. But I'm looking at Ty Simpson, and he's like a 2-year backup that's like waited his turn. Like I still don't know what I'm getting from like Arch Manning yet. So like, what am I missing with like Texas that Alabama can't be on that same par with them? Because I like our DB room better. I like our wide receiver room better. I like our linebacker room better. I'm not totally sure on the running back room. I'll probably give that to Texas. But as far as the trenches go, we're all kind of in that same like realm. And I'd even argue that we have Caden Proctor and Jaden Roberts coming back.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you're right. A lot of people are high on Texas. I mean, Joe Klatt as recently as, what was it, yesterday, I think he put out his top 25. He had Texas at number 2. And let's see what he had to say here. I'm looking at the quote. Coming off back-to-back semifinal appearances, officially the Arch Manning era. I was looking at these last 3 teams as the teams that I kind of had in this bunch. Ohio State, Texas, and my number 1 team. Before I get to them, just tell you now it's officially Arch Manning time. I believe he's going to be my Heisman front runner to begin the year, which is interesting because Greg McElroy didn't really have Arch Manning as high. Some of these other guys on his list. Only because he said it's hard to put him above a lot of guys that have already proven it, and I respect that. You guys know how me and my dad are. I think he can have the impact in that large of a season to get CJ Baxter back to pair with Trey Wisner, at running back. There's some holes to fill, but again, Sarkisian, like Ryan Day, Dan Lanning, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban used to do at Alabama. They're just reloading at Texas. I'm going to stop there. That was going to be my answer. Really, I don't know exactly the guys, right? Because I don't keep up with Texas like that. But I would imagine a lot of people are naturally going to put stock in them, Ricky, because number 1, their head coach, right? 2, the level of consistency that they've been having in their play, reaching the semifinals and all that good stuff. 3, Arch Manning, which probably is the biggest reason. A lot of, when you have a good quarterback, people expect you to have a really good football team, especially when you're at a program like Texas. They've recruited well. They obviously have good players. So I think that's what people are looking at and getting from Texas. He goes on to say, they built a program, this preeminent program in college football. You don't have to ask if Texas is back. They absolutely are back. They've been in the national semifinals in 2 straight years, and they may get past that this year. They will start for me at number 2. So to me, Ricky, to answer your question, there's nothing really definitive other than he's really high on Arch Manning. Obviously, he highlighted that a bunch. And then he's really going off of what they've done the past few seasons, which, again, I mean, when you look at these way too early lists, a lot of the time that's really about all you can go off of is really kind of what they did in the past and then what they might have coming in. And I guess, obviously, we've just gone through spring, so you kind of go off of that. But to me, I mean, look, I think Texas is clearly going to be a good football team. Are they worthy of being number 2? It's hard to say. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily put that at number 2, but I mean, I guess we'll have to see.
But doesn't that kind of feel like a little black and white? Like, because they got 2 starters coming back for their O line, like, which is their center and their right guard, and you got a brand new starter. So like I think like maybe it's just me because I don't think I see football like that simple as, oh, they did it last year, so of course they got to do it this year. Like, I think Kalen Orr beat Sark twice and we missed the playoffs. So I think to assume just because of like past success that you should be here when like most of your production isn't really returning. Like, I think I'm just a little confused as to why they have Texas so high. Now, Ohio State, on the other hand, Like I can see that because I understand their NIL a little bit more than probably every other school, even ours. Like Ryan Day has made it like clear that instead of going out and paying for players, we're going to pay for the players that we develop so we can keep the majority of our roster. Which I think that's the page Alabama is taking. Like from what I've seen now, like we've kept most of our guys. So I get Ohio State if you wanted to put them like one or two. I even get Oregon because they got a lot of production coming back too. But Texas borderline lost everything, and I know probably Digger is listening, and he's gonna call in, or I already know. But I just wanted to see because I thought maybe I might have been missing something because I didn't see this as like a clear black and white issue.
Yeah, no, I don't.
It's
No. I agree with what you're saying. I don't think you're missing anything, man. I think it just varies. I mean, I'm looking at his list, and obviously, I mean, different teams, like for instance, Clemson. I'm understanding why people are really high on them. Obviously, if you feel like they have the personnel to have 5 or 6 guys in a or way too early mock draft, I obviously know it's way too early. It's just a mock draft, but still, when you have that many players that you feel are worthy of those spots, they clearly have a really talented roster. That makes sense, when you look at them from that perspective, right? You look at us on this list at number 9. If we had, I guess, say we had a quarterback returning that was just that, a returning quarterback that, you felt a little bit more confident in. Not saying you don't feel confident in Ty, but anytime you have a new quarterback, other than this situation with Texas, Arch Manning is new, but he's a guy that they've been talking about for years. I mean, they treat him like he's a generational guy. It's a little bit different in this situation. But I'd argue that
we know why that is.
Right. But you get what I'm saying. At least with Alabama, like you're right. Like I feel great about a lot of the positions that we have here in the guys returning. I'm with you on that. If anything, I feel like we're deeper than a lot of these other teams. Even looking at this list that Joe Clack came up with, the problem is there's just certain things that make people question. Plus, I think they're looking at last year and they're saying, all right, well, Bama did still, they had this guy, but they still fell short. Why was that? Right. So I think last year is kind of making people a little hesitant, I would say, because they still want to see a little bit more, which I think they will see more. But does that make sense? And I think that's fair. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. And I know it's quick to just say, oh, well, we got a different quarterback. It's going to be different on offense. And it's easy just to think like that. But from these people that watch ball, there was other things than just the one guy. And that's what I'm trying to explain. And that's probably the main reason you still see them not putting a whole bunch. Not again, top 10 is putting a lot of stake in the team, but you get what I'm saying. They're not putting as much stake in us that you probably would imagine.
But even then, right? Like you bring up Clemson, like I get like Dabo is like a different like card because he's not big on transfer portal. He's big on like development and like a lot of his guys that he has, he kind of keeps through like he keeps practically almost every year. Like we may get like 1 or 2 transfers, but like Dabo like keeps like a lot of his roster. So like for him, his ceiling is like every 3 to 4 years, like they start to like pick up teams. So I think Dabo is even different, like in like this sense. Like, and I would even have them like at least Clemson right now based on the talent. Like I don't really know the Houston situation, but like I would have them like top 10, like top 15.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm with you, but I think what people are looking at is they got Cade Klubnik coming back at quarterback, who's been starting there. They made it to the playoffs last year, even though I'll even argue that they weren't the most impressive team. But then you look at the rest of their roster. I mean, they've got a receiver mocked in that first round. They've got a DB. They got an edge, maybe an offensive line. Obviously, people are really high on their roster. And I think that's why they're putting so much stock into them, which I think makes sense, right? You got to have the Jimmies and the Joes. And if a lot of people think they have just that, they're going to be really high on them. But again, this is just these way too early top 25s. Think about last year, how drastically they can change just in a few short months. So that's probably what's going to happen. But I'm with you, though. I mean, some of these, you're kind of wondering why they're so high on them. But Different people see different things, and I'm going to look at a couple more way too early top 25s and see where some of these other people have these teams and kind of check that out. But Ricky, we appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys. I'll give you my top 10 probably Thursday because I got to go to Disneyland tomorrow.
Oh, well, yeah, have fun with that, man. Yeah, we'll get to it Thursday. We'll have Josh Pate on then, too, and we can see what he thinks about it.
Oh, Jesus. All right.
All right, Ricky, we'll see you, man. Good deal. All right, we got to hit a timeout. When we come back, we'll be joined by Gray Robertson, voice for Alabama softball over there. He's got boots on the ground, so we'll get his thoughts on everything going on, and we'll go from there right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. All right, let's see. Poor Dabo. Well, I mean, hey, he might be on the right track this year. Let me see if I'll pull that list back up. I mean, because they had a number of guys on this, and it was from what was his name? I'll get it right now. It was, let's see. Wait, who? Oh, I should have brought that up. Who posted that? Yeah. Okay. Well, here you go. You got another person thinking Texas is going to be national champions. It's a great question. It was a great question, Ricky. A lot of people seem to be high on them. Okay, here it is. What I was looking for. It was this right here. So the quarterback, Cade Klubnik, which a good player, but we'll see about that. Again, quarterback though, we know how this works. If you're a good quarterback, good offensive lineman, you got a good chance. Who are the others? Edge. I gotta look into him. I don't even recognize that name. And then they also had. Wait, am I missing something? Maybe it was another list. Hold on. Maybe just 4 guys: receiver, corner. Wait, so 4 guys. Where did I get 6 guys? Oh, there's. Oh, wait, no, I'm tripping. There was 6. Peter Woods, Cade Klubnik, Blake Miller, offensive tackle. Yeah, I was right. I know there's an offensive lineman on there. Edge. I mean, so you got a defensive tackle, an edge, a quarterback, wide receiver, corner, offensive tackle. I mean, that's one stacked roster. And again, obviously, that's just way too early mock draft. But that's from Todd McShay, right?
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Confused Store, America's arch support experts, where we're now joined by my buddy, my partner in crime over on the Everwood post-game party show for Alabama football, plus a voice and analyst for softball. Hell, even, what is it, volleyball. Gray, what don't you do? Gray Robertson, welcome in, man. How are you?
What's up, Christian? I'm happy to be here with you. I miss the days of the Everwood Crimson Tide post-game party, especially when we were leaving Brian Jenny at 2 a.m. Those were good times.
Yeah, they really were, man. It made it worth it. It definitely made it worth it, man. But it's all right. We're going to recreate it over here a little bit. We'll have a little Everwood party on the Miller's Edge every week or so whenever you have the time. I know you're busy doing a million things, which is a good thing for you. It's a good problem to have. And then speaking of being busy, I appreciate you taking some time to join us. I know you're on the road, boots on the ground over in Georgia. I'm sure everybody knows, but fill us in on what you're doing over there, Gray.
Yeah, so I am here for the SEC softball tournament. The Tide will take on Auburn tonight at 6 Central with an asterisk because it's a tournament. So you never really know if you're going to be on time or not. We got 2 games beforehand, but yeah, we're staying at a little Airbnb in Brazelton, Georgia. I'm sitting in an amphitheater in a beautiful part of town. It's sunny. I feel like I'm in Mayberry right now, and just getting ready to get ready for this game tonight. It's always fun when Alabama and Auburn get to meet up when there's stuff on the line like the SEC tournament and trying to play South Carolina tomorrow. It gets even better.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we just play South Carolina not long ago?
The last weekend.
I was about to say, I feel like we just played them. So that's interesting. Well, tell me this. How are things looking so far? Like, what's your outlook on this tournament? I read that 6 out of the top 7 teams in the nation all come from the SEC. Obviously, this is a star-studded tournament. What's kind of the outlook? Who's the team or the teams to watch, in your opinion, Gray?
Well, let me just say this, Christian. Because it's single elimination, I can make the argument this is the toughest tournament in the country, and I'm including the Women's College World Series. Because that's double elimination. And this is one and done. You got one crack. This league is so deep. Everyone except Missouri is going to make the NCAA tournament, and Missouri could still make it if they win the whole darn thing this weekend, which is probably not going to happen, but you never know. Oklahoma's the top seed. They're always tough. They've 4 straight national championships. Coach Gasso does a great job. They've got a really good pitcher in Sam Landry, who was taken #1 in the pro league draft the other night. So she's a tough matchup. Their offense is always popping, but I really like Texas A&M and Arkansas as my 2 kind of picks to make it to the title, and 2 teams that I think are going to contend to win this tournament. Arkansas's got the best player in the country in Bree Ellis. She's putting up numbers that you won't see in college softball at all. The home run, the slugging, the OBP. She's getting walked if she's not hitting home runs. People are wisely not pitching to her now. And Texas A&M is a team that has a really good lefty arm in Emily Kennedy, but also good depth behind her. There are other pitchers who can come in and eat some innings and hold down opposing offenses. And their lineup, 1 through 9, is really well-rounded. They've got a couple power hitters, couple slappers, couple people who just find gaps, couple people who just try and beat you by 1,000 cuts with singles. And, they've got good eyes. They're very patient. I like their approach. So I think Arkansas and A&M are the 2 teams who, when I was looking at the bracket, really stuck out to me as teams that could win this tournament.
And when you think about Oklahoma, Gray, I know they've been a powerhouse for years. I remember we played them and played them well this year. Are they still a pretty solid contender right now in your eyes, Gray?
Yeah, they won the SEC, but they did it by losing more series than any of the rest of the top 5. They just swept more people. It was, we love math. That standings math is great. And they're so young. They don't know any better, but at the same time, that helps them and hurts them. So they make some mistakes that you see from Oklahoma, and you're like, who is this? Like, what program is this? Oklahoma, the last 4 years, has felt mistake-free whenever you're watching them. But they also, don't let it affect them for the most part. I mean, they're very youthful. They've got a lot of freshmen in the lineup. They've got a lot of newcomers in the lineup. So when they face adversity, they just kind of attack it like, okay, whatever. And they just swing hard and, attack opposing pitchers. So I wouldn't pick Oklahoma to win the national championship. I'm actually a little surprised that they won the SEC this year, but they're still good. You can never count out a team like Oklahoma who just finds ways to win. I mean, postseason time is Patty Gasso time, and OU can never be discounted, no matter what you think of them after the regular season.
That's a fair point. In regards to our girls, I know you study them close. Obviously, you're an analyst, the voice there. You cover them deeply. What do you think we need to do? What do you think Murph's squad needs to do to have success in this tournament, and then also in the big one, in the big tournament?
I think honestly, there are a lot of things Alabama's doing right now that they've done for the last month that if they keep it up, they can make a run here in Athens in the NCAA tournament. They're going to host a regional probably. They most likely, barring a real true run in Athens, they'll have to travel for supers. But I think that there are people who are getting hot at the right time that'll really help. The key is when things get off schedule, when things get weird, when the strike zone gets small, when You make a mistake. Can you stop the snowball? Because in Game 3 against South Carolina, we saw all of a sudden the strike zone get small. That happens, and then you could feel it coming down the mountain, and you could feel almost everybody trying to put their hands up to stop it, but just being unable to. Alabama's got to find a way when things get chaotic to get some sort of calm thrown into that scenario, and to not allow these innings where maybe you give up 1 or 2 runs to spiral down to 5 runs. If that happens in the NCAA tournament, you're really up a creek without a paddle, because these other teams that you're playing are all good. They're all really good, and they're going to make sure that when they get that kind of momentum, they hold on to it. So Alabama, the key for them is play clean, try to limit the mistakes. But when there are mistakes, because it's a stick and ball sport and everyone's human, don't let those mistakes compound into something more disastrous.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I don't know if you have an answer to this question, Gray, but I'm just curious. I mean, what makes the SEC so dominant when it comes to softball? I mean, is it the recruiting? Is it just, the young ladies in the Southeast just are that much better? What makes this conference just so dominant? How are we so good at softball year in and year out?
I love this question. I think there are a couple answers here. One, the geography. The softball calendar is a little wonky, and if you're trying to play in the Big Ten, you really don't play at home until April. You barely practice outside. If you're up north, you might have 3 outdoor practices until April, maybe. In the South, I mean, we have a couple cold weekends in February and early March, but for the most part, it's beautiful. I mean, right now I'm sitting outside, 75 degrees, perfect. Hardly a cloud in the sky, sun's out. It's great. And that's kind of what it's like, from March until June when it really starts to get hot. And then also just the quality of the coaches. I mean, I think every school right now has the best coach they've ever had. And when you've got that type of talent across the board who understand the recruiting landscape, who understand how to develop talent, you're going to bring in the big names. And it helps that all the schools have really invested. You're getting new facilities and new perks. And, when we go to the stadium at Georgia today, they just built a new locker room area, new office area, new indoor hitting facility. I can't wait to see it. It looks beautiful. I saw the drone video and, stuff like that. Investment like that from the schools have really helped to make the SEC the destination that it is, along with the success brought on by the last 2 decades or so.
That makes sense. I mean, I guess you're right. Kind of once you reach that level, I mean, sustaining it is a lot easier than when you were really building it up. So that's a fair point, and I like that answer. Real quick, because I know we got limited time with you. I know you got to get rolling. I want to shift gears just real quick because we've been talking a little college football post-spring. A lot of post-spring top 25 lists are coming out. I'm not going to put you on the spot. I'll save it for next week whenever we can get you back on here to get you to give me a little top 25 list. But I want to ask you at least about a couple teams, in your opinion, and none in, I guess, really just in your mind, right? You watch a lot of college football. I remember, before we would do our show, I mean, you're making sure you're catching all the games. Looking forward to this upcoming year, are there any teams, maybe 2 or 3 teams that really stand out to you? The reason I asked this is because a lot of people are really high on Texas this year. One of our callers just called and said, I don't really understand why that is, other than, not Quinn Ewers, but Arch Manning, right? You see a lot of people really high on Clemson. They've got allegedly a really good roster that a lot of people think they've got is filled with first round talent. Is there a few teams that stick out in your mind that you feel like are just going to be, major contenders this upcoming season in college football?
Well, I think you're going to see a lot of the usual players as, the NIL era becomes what it is. We're used to seeing kind of the same 5 or 6 teams in the conversation, at Clemson and Ohio State. Michigan will probably be a lot better this year with Bryce Underwood. A team that really interests me that I don't really know what to make of them, but I like the quarterback and I like the coach, is South Carolina. I love Lenore Sellers. I think he's gotten better each and every year. I don't know if South Carolina is going to contend for a national championship, but they seem like the kind of team that's going to go 8-4, 9-3, and directly determine who also is not in the national championship conversation by beating them at some point. Exactly. So South Carolina is just a team that really excites me. I really want to see what that squad looks like. I know that they've got to replace some pieces around Lenora Sellers, but I just think Coach Beamer does a great job. That's a very good fan base. They haven't had a ton of success over the years, but they still buy in every single season. So South Carolina, I'm not going to proclaim them even a playoff contender, but I just think that's a team that could make a big dent on a lot of people's seasons and one that's going to be really exciting to watch.
That's a good answer. Obviously, my dad would love that. He played there, and he's a huge Gamecock, so he's all for that one. But yeah, no, that's an interesting one. I didn't think about that. You're right. I mean, they even have Lenore Sellers being mocked as a first-round talent. So if he can get the pieces around him, which they also got the edge guy coming back. They lost one to the draft, but what is his name? I can't think of his name right now. But anyway, he's back.
Stewart.
Yeah, Stewart. There it is. Thank you, Gray. Yeah, he's back. They got his NIL. I know it's crazy. We flip roles, right? On the post-game show, you're asking me all the questions and I'm breaking the stuff down. Now I'm asking you all the questions. You're breaking it down. I love it. Well, Gray, I'm not going to hold you much longer. Well, any longer. We're going to hit this top of the hour break. I'm going to let you get to it. But enjoy that nice Airbnb that you got there, that good weather. Have fun. Have a great call or great calls. And we'll have to get you back on here frequently, man. If you got time, we'd love to do it like once a week, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, I'd love to. Thank you, my friend. And to all the Tide fans listening, Tom and I will be on the air at 4:45 Central. It's a long pregame show, so tune in for it. Sam Auburn coming up tonight at the SEC tournament.
Awesome. And is there anything else you want to plug? I know you got a podcast, right? Softball podcast? You still doing that?
Yeah, well, we'll be doing our bracket reaction show next week once the NCAA tournament bracket comes out, which is always the wildest episode of the year. So at Out of the Box _pod on the X, and you can search Out of the Box. We'll be there. My name will be there. We have a good time. So, catch the fever. Mayhem is here. Softball is really getting rolling.
Love it, man. Love it, man. Well, we appreciate you, man. Have a great call. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, Christian.
Yes, sir. Roll Tide. All right. We got to hit this top of the hour break. Big thanks to my buddy Gray Robertson. When we come back, we keep on rolling right here. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Good deal. Good deal. All right. Welcome in, everybody. This is top of the hour break. See, we've got double the audience. If you're just joining, we're joined by my partner, Gray Robertson, who me and him, we do the post-game show for Alabama football, the Everwood post-game party show. And he's also an analyst for softball. So that's where he's at. So he's covering that. So big thanks to him for filling us in on everything they've got going on. I became a big softball fan, a few years ago, man. I love Coach Murphy. So nice, man. We become good friends, and it's a fun sport to watch. So you guys can check that out again. Alabama plays tonight at 6 against Auburn, right? So I know you guys definitely want to check that out. All right, so now we've freed up a little bit. We're going to hit some of y'all's questions again. If you guys got any questions that you want us to discuss or talk about, you can always drop it in the chat, and we're going to read it. We're going to go back to Mimi's question from earlier. If you guys have any more, feel free to drop those because we're wide open. We're wide open when we come back. Let's see. Who does Clemson play? I feel like you're being funny because they don't really play anybody, and I agree. Excuse me, but I'm gonna pull up their schedule just to look because I am curious. I mean, because if they're that talented this year in terms of their personnel, they're not playing anybody. I see why people would be high on them. Okay, LSU. That'll actually be a challenge. Thank God, because the rest of them, guys, here, I'll just share this with you. Troy, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, North Carolina, Boston College, SMU, Duke, Florida State, Louisville, Furman, South. I mean, it's a joke. You're 100% right, Mimi. 100% right. And that's probably why people are so high on them. But you know what's crazy, though? Let me go back to our bookmarks that I had. Somebody did a mock playoff projection, and they actually even had Texas winning it all. And this is from Brad Crawford, who's been on our show a couple times. I know I was talking about Clemson, but I just thought about the whole Texas question from Ricky. And yeah, a lot of people are high on him. We'll ask Josh Pate that. Again, he's joining us Thursday, 11:15. So we'll get his thoughts on that. He'll answer it better. I was about to say, I can't offer more than even what Joe Klatt offered. I mean, I was hoping he'd have more of an explanation than me, because that's really what I was just thinking. Quarterback, the coach, program that they've built, good recruiting, still some good players. They expect to have more good players, even though they lost players, have good players step up. But I feel like that's what everybody's going off of with them. But to have them picked as winning the national championship, that's interesting. A lot of people like Penn State, though. I do like their quarterback, really good football player. Georgia, for some reason, I feel like Georgia might be going through a little bit of a slump. All right, we're about to come back here. 10 seconds. Yeah, we're open, guys. So drop those questions if you got them.
John Tide 100.9.
And welcome into this Talking Tuesday. Welcome back in, I should say. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hope everybody is doing well. Again, big thanks to my partner in crime on the Everwood Postgame Party Show on the Crimson Tide Sports Network. Gray Robertson, who just joined us, also analyst for Alabama softball. He's got boots on the ground over in Georgia, where they will be covering the softball team as they take on Auburn this evening, 6 p.m. Central Time. In the first round. And again, that is slated to change because it is a tournament. So we'll have to see kind of how it plays out. But it's around 6 or so when they will play. So that'll be good if you guys want to catch that. Plus, like you heard him, their pregame coverage starts early. So if you're like Tommy, who we haven't heard from Tommy in a minute, but hopefully Tommy was listening because I know he loves softball and he definitely probably enjoyed what we just heard from Gray. But yeah, you can catch the coverage for Gray and company starting, I think he said 4:45 or so. So make sure you guys tune in to that. All right, it's a Talking Tuesday. So again, 205-342-9904 is the number. We encourage you guys to hit us up. You guys are the co-hosts. But we are open right now. So if you guys want to get on those phone lines, go ahead and hop on there while we're open. But in the meantime, Chase, we're going to read some of these things that we have over here on the chat on our YouTube. Again, we are streaming live on YouTube. You can check us out there at The Miller's Edge if you want more of a visual, but if not, no worries. You can do the same thing, listen to it just like you are on the app, all that good stuff. But from Mimi, she says, who steps up as our leader on defense or leaders? She asked that earlier, and it's a really good question. Any team, every team, you got to have good leadership, right? It's instrumental. It's imperative to have that on your football team. Your culture is everything. How you're building that is everything. One good thing I'll say about some recent developments is that it seems to me, from listening to some of these player interviews during the spring, listening to Coach DeBoer talk, that culture is continuously growing, and it appears that going into year 2, it's growing even more. Right. With that being said, who are some specific guys that could step up? You mentioned defense, so we'll start there. Anytime I think about defense, you've got to have some dogs that step up as leaders. The good news is on defense, you've got a lot of guys returning from last year. So it's not one of those situations. Sometimes you have years where you lose a lot of people. So you're trying to figure out who the leaders are going to be. And it always works itself out, but you still are trying to, figure out, especially the coaches, right? Because it's not like they necessarily just go, hey, we want to pick this guy to be a leader. Normally, leadership, it develops naturally. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes it's a little bit slow. Sometimes you're wondering why people aren't really stepping up, and you got to try to push people in those positions. But when you have so many returners and a lot of returning leaders, you kind of have a good idea. Defensively, Deontay Lawson immediately comes to mind. Redshirt senior, guy that was already named a team captain, immediately returns as a leader on that defense and is coming in at a crucial spot. Linebacker, Mike linebacker, obviously he's going to be the signal caller of the defense. Going to have a lot of respect. He's played here a lot, played a lot of snaps, played a lot of really good football. So he's going to be clearly one of your main leaders on the defense. In the secondary, I look at a guy like Keon Sabb. I think we talked about this, what was it, like last week? He might be the only player on this roster that has won a national championship at this point now. Because the guys like Q Robinson that were here, Malachi Moore that were here, I think their freshman year in 2020, they're now gone. That class is gone. That was the last national championship that we had won here, right? So, ironically, the only player on this roster, to my knowledge, that has won a national championship is Keon Sabb. Not to mention he naturally is a good leader. But I look at him as another guy who's going to step up and be a very vocal guy, a guy that leads by example. I've seen it in person. I've seen it in practice. I've been at practices even this spring where, obviously he's been coming back from his injury, so he wasn't out there, but he was out there. You get what I mean? Like he wasn't out there physically on the field, but he was on the sidelines leading, right? Being a vocal guy, and that's really, really important. So I look at him and Deontay Lawson. I think those guys both definitely step up as leaders. I feel like LT Overton could be a guy that could definitely be a leader on this team as well. But I think those two are like the main two that come to mind defensively when I think about being the guys, right? Tim Keenan would be the third/fourth. I mentioned LT, but Tim Keenan definitely is another leader who does a really good job with that defensive line group. Really good guy. We've had him on the show here. You guys love that interview because you heard just how, he's a very upstanding character, right? Carries himself very well and works extremely hard. So I would say him as well. Offensively, I feel like Brailsford is really stepping up. The center is always going to be one of your main leaders on your football team as well. I feel like Brailsford is a guy who has done a nice job with that offensive line unit. I mean, now that Tyler Booker is gone, I would argue, he's probably the guy on that offensive line unit now. I know you got Caden Proctor, who definitely is probably stepping up, but to me, Brailsford comes off as like, a little bit. I guess they're probably around the same age, but I don't know. Something about him just kind of speaks to me more like he's kind of in that leadership role. You got Jaden Roberts, who's obviously going to be very vocal, expresses himself. So I think you got some good players, and even a guy like Vandermark. He's not like the premier guy up front, but just listening to him in some of those player interviews post practice, you can clearly tell that he's definitely got a lot of leadership qualities to him. And then your quarterback's always going to be the guy. I feel like Ty Simpson's going to do a nice job being a leader, and even Jan Miller in that running back room. He's played here a long time, plays some really good football. So those are the guys that come to mind, and I think it's really important that you have that, and that is player led, and that it naturally comes. And I think that's what's happening right now. I think Coach DeBoer and staff do a really good job of really helping those guys grow together and letting them kind of just do their thing. They do a lot of stuff. At least it seems like now outside of football together, which is really important. And I think that aspect of this team is really coming together nicely. So really good question. We got to hit another timeout. When we come back, we're going to keep on rolling on this Talking Tuesday. Again, we are open 205-342-9904. Want to hear from you guys. Plus, we'll keep hitting on some of these topics. I've got some more things that I want to throw at you, including a projected playoff picture that has another bid for Texas being a contender this year. We'll talk about that and more coming up right here on this Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTVC. All right, let's see what we got here on the agenda. If you guys haven't, would love if you guys could drop a like, even share it if you got anybody that you think would be interested. Subscribe if you haven't. All that helps us out. Again, we're going to start doing this every day, so we're trying to grow it and make it bigger and better. If you ever have any suggestions any of that stuff, man, let us know. Would love to listen to that. Let's see. You got a number of things. Oh, that was something I wanted to hit. We'll bring that up. Let's see. There's a number of things. Do you think our offensive line can stay healthy enough? Good question. I can't predict if they'll be healthy enough, but I can say that's why depth is really important. I think they've done a really nice job of trying to work guys at different positions, moving guys around. I mean, we've seen Elias Allen, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's been working at tackle, came in as a guard. So he's getting some good reps there. You already got a guy like Vandermark that can move around, kind of a flex player. Some of these incoming guys, I think like Michael Carroll, for example, he came in as a guard, maybe. I think they're working him at tackle. So they're moving guys around for that reason. And the biggest thing is though these guys stay healthy. So that you can't predict that. You can just do your best to try to prevent things, but unfortunately, the injury rate in football is 100%. So there's going to be injuries, but I think we should be all right though. I mean, the biggest thing is that they perform, right? Obviously, if they're not healthy, that doesn't even matter. So you're right, but you get what I'm saying. I think the offensive line will be key this upcoming season for sure. Let's see what else we got here. About to come back now. All right, here we go. 10 seconds. And 3, 2, 1.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230. WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's arch support experts. Again, we spoke with our buddy Gray Robertson, analyst for Alabama softball. You got the SEC softball tournament kicking off today. First round starts today. Alabama faces the Auburn Tigers tonight, 6 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you guys check that out. Again, the coverage for it starts a little bit earlier, so you can tune into that. I think around 4:45. Gray said. So there's that. Plus, Chase, there's a few other things that had come up, and I want to hit those that we hadn't talked about yet. Again, it's a Talking Tuesday, so we're going to talk about a number of things like we like to do. Have you seen the whole deal with Michigan, Chase? Have you read into that yet?
I have indeed. It is it's crazy. The NCAA is still on Michigan for something that happened even with John Harbaugh with the Chargers, kind of with what's going on. But yeah, it's a little sticky. I'll say that, Christian.
Yeah, I mean, what is the deal? So here it is. And so if you guys haven't seen this yet, and this came out, was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. But that Michigan coach Sharon Moore is expected to be suspended for 2 games for the upcoming 2025 season as part of self-imposed sanctions by the university in regards to the Connor Stallions advanced scouting scandal. Did they not face punishment from the? Didn't Harbaugh sit out for that? Am I making that up? Did he not sit out because of that?
I think he did. It was for a major game though.
Also, I mean,
Michigan, if I'm not
I'm
mistaken.
almost positive he sat out already, and I don't know why. I don't even remember. I'm pretty sure. If you want to double check that, but anyway, according to ESPN, Sharon Moore expected to be suspended 2 games this upcoming year, excuse me, for those self-imposed sanctions. The suspensions for Michigan's Week 3 and Week 4 games against Central Michigan and Nebraska. Okay, Nebraska's not bad, right? You got Matt Rule over there. Moore will also be barred from any team-related duties during those 2 weeks and will receive additional recruiting-related penalties. The NCAA can still punish Moore in addition to the self-imposed school penalties. A final resolution is expected before the start of the season. So I guess they still are working on some stuff. But there you have it. I mean, he's sitting out 2 games. I'm almost positive. Let me look this up real quick. I'm literally almost positive that Coach Harbaugh sat out a couple games due to that. And I guess maybe that was just initially they didn't have all the facts. This Connor Stallion guy has gone on like podcasts and talked about stuff. Literally, I don't know. This whole deal is weird to me. I mean, if you guys weren't familiar or forgot about the whole situation, basically what it was they had a dude flying around scouting opponents, which, to be fair, no, that's not even to be fair. I'm not saying it's common, but I'll be honest. I don't think they're probably the first team to have ever done something like that. I just think they probably just got caught. But some more details according to the article. At the time, so Sharon Moore was a offensive coordinator in 2023 when Stallions, who was a former Michigan staffer, was first accused of operating an advanced scouting operation by having friends and family attend games around the country and videotape the sideline play signals of future opponents. Stallions was alleged to have used the tape to decipher their play calling signals. Let's stop there for a second, Chase. So what I'm saying is now having friends and family go film signals and stuff, I mean, like, I don't know anything like that. But in terms of like trying to pick up on signals, people do that like throughout games, right? There's a whole reason, like you see, I'm sure you guys have seen it. Like they'll have like the walk-on stand up on the bench and they'll hold up like towels or things to try to cover signs and signals. People try to do that. I guess this guy just went above and beyond and was sending friends and family to do that, which again, illegal is illegal. But let's continue. August 2024. Notice of allegations. NCAA cited Michigan for 11 violations, 6 of which were deemed level 1 or the most serious. The school and the NCAA are working towards a resolution. More suspension ties back to the allegations that he deleted a thread of 52 text messages with Stallions. So, okay, this makes sense, right? This is what I was curious about. So, Harbaugh, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you looked that up yet, Chase. I was trying to, but I didn't want to hold us up. Pretty sure he literally was suspended or something because he sat out. Yeah, he was. I know I'm not tripping. I just don't remember what game it was. But I guess now they're saying, okay, Sharon Moore's got to do the time for his parts in this whole crime, right? The alleged deletions came in October 2023 on the same day that media reports revealed Stallions was leading an effort to capture the play calling signals of future opponents. According to a draft of the notice of allegations obtained by ESPN last year, the texts were recovered via device imaging, and Moore have produced them to enforcement staff. Moore is accused of committing a level 2 violation, according to the draft. Moore suspended for Michigan's 2023 season opening game against East Carolina as part of self-imposed penalties by the university in a different NCAA case. Chase, I mean, it sounds like this whole organization just caught up in violation after violation after violation. I mean, do you feel like his involvement in this whole Connor Stallions thing, do you think suspending him week 3 and week 4, do you think that is enough, Chase? I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, or do you feel like he needs even more punishment? Because, I mean, he obviously he was deleting text messages. I mean, the dude is clearly not very clean, right, in this whole situation. He's deleting text messages. I mean, at what point do we consider – I hate to be this guy. I don't want to be that type of dude to say this, but at what point do we consider taking away the national championship, Chase? I mean, what do you think, man?
Christian, I'm with you on that one. I just feel like this is just like a slap on the wrist for Michigan. Why would they allow Michigan to pick 2 games? Allow them to do that. I would have them suspended for Ohio State and the conference championship game if they made it, because it's so significant to them. They didn't think twice about it. So I'm kind of shocked by the NCAA that they didn't push harder on disciplining them because it's such so much ramifications and people are getting affected, with A-Day and spring game, and just tampering is such an easy thing to do. You've got to have rules and regulations for this type of stuff. And I just felt like the NCAA was like, you know what? Here's a ticket, do what you want with it, and we'll just keep it pushing.
Absolutely. How about this? I see that video you sent from On3 where they're discussing what that means. Let's hear from JD Piquel and get his thoughts on what this means for Michigan and really college football. Because it is interesting. I mean, you're talking about a team that, again, you had Harbaugh who was suspended twice. Okay, here it is. Yeah, that's why, again, I don't know why I was second guess it. I'm like, he already was suspended. I guess I was trying to figure out why this circled back. You get what I'm saying? I was just kind of confused because I'm like, they suspended Harbaugh, but he was suspended twice during the 2023 season, right? While he was at Michigan. He served a 3-game suspension at the start of the season imposed by the school, and then a 3-game again, they go on and they win a national. I know football is football, but to me, I don't know. The team that beat me for a national championship is dealing with all types of allegations that are still coming out. What, a year or two later? To me, something's not adding up, and I don't know. Personally, I would probably. I don't know. I don't know what I could do about it, but I'd definitely look into something. Not saying I'm like, okay, they need to give us a national championship because we didn't earn crap. We lost the game. But I definitely would at least I'd be feeling some type of way. We're about due for this break, so maybe we'll save that video when we come back, Chase. But it looks like we got an app message. Let's see what that app message has to say. Then we'll take a timeout. Then we'll revisit that video.
Yeah. Jared in Dallas said, we were kind of talking about the title for Nick Saban. He said, Saban, college football, Cesar. How does that sound?
I think it sounds good. I think it sounds really good. This would have to be something that would allow him to still do everything that he's doing. I think he does a hell of a job in the media. I enjoy listening to him. He obviously enjoys it a lot. Just something where he could have a role where almost like being on like some type of board, right? Like I wish we could make some type of board, kind of like how they have the playoff committee. That's not the full-time job of those people, right? They all serve in other roles elsewhere, or maybe they're retired from something, but you get what I'm saying. But they meet and discuss things. I think that could be number one. I think it could be a reality. Number two, I think that would be ideal. I mean, unless you had some people that were specifically designated to serve in that role full time. But I think if you want guys like Nick Saban who have a lot of other stuff going on, I mean, you probably, in my mind, aren't going to be able to find figures like that and have them in a full-time gig like that. You get what I'm saying? But I think if they had a committee that was only obligated to meet maybe, weekly, something like that, just kind of oversee college football, kind of come up with, I mean, which I guess that's what the NCAA is supposed to be doing, but clearly they're not really doing it in the best way. But anyway, yeah, I think that sounds good. I definitely think it sounds good, Jared, but we'll see. He's got a lot on his plate, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind playing Superman for college football once a week. All right, we got to hit a timeout. We come back. We keep on rolling. I see we got Tommy on the phone lines. We'll hear from him. 205-342-9904 is the number. Again, I should have thrown this out earlier. New time, 11 to 1. I know some people are still thrown off a little bit. Normally, they're used to listening 12 to 2. 11 to 1 is the official new time for the Miller's Edge, so don't forget about that. Also, we'll hear probably from this On3 clip, getting a little bit more of a breakdown on what this means with Michigan regarding some of these self-imposed violations. Plus, we keep on rolling on this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. What do you guys think? I think those 2-game suspensions for Michigan, is that enough for this whole Connor Stallions thing that's still going on? I thought it was over. That's why I was so confused about it coming back. Yeah, it's interesting. Because now going back and looking at that, I mean, they already punished Harbaugh. Now they're going after Sharon. That's why I'm so confused why it's circling back. But we'll hear some more details on it. First, we'll probably go to Tommy first. See what else we got in here. See what else we can pull up. I forgot. Let me check this. Oh, that whole thing, Justin Tucker thing's been big. Let's see. If you guys are just joining us, we're just on a commercial break. We're about to come back here in a second. But again, if you guys got any questions, drop them down. We will read them live on there. If you haven't, drop that like. That helps us out. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Share it. Again, we're going to be doing this every day. And it's just our radio show we've been doing. We're just bringing it over here back on YouTube. We did this like a year ago. We did it for a couple months. And then we kind of got away from it. But Crystal says, I don't think it's enough, but it may be far from over. As long as it can take the NCAA to impose sanctions and what they find and further investigations. I mean, that's a solid point. I mean, maybe there's more to it. That's why it's circling back. I just was confused. I'm like, Harbaugh got suspended and punished literally like over a year ago. Excuse me, but unless they're saying for his specific involvement, I'm talking about Sharon Moore. I don't know. It's really interesting. And it makes it even more interesting that they literally won the national championship that year. Right? That's what's interesting to me. All right, here we go. We're about to come back now.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. But don't forget about our friends over at R&R Cigars. If you guys are in the market for those premium cigars, you got to check out R&R Cigars right here, 2703 6th Street. You can't miss it. They've got the big old mansion with the wraparound porch. I'm telling you, this thing is it's the place to go watch your favorite sporting events, right? Whether you're just trying to go hang out, enjoy a nice stick, one of the 160 bourbons that they have available. You can check that out there as well. I'm telling you, you can't beat it, man. Right here in Tuscaloosa, especially if you want to go watch softball tournament, if you're trying to go watch whether it's baseball, basketball, football season, great time to go hang out there. It is the place to be. Again, they've got the best humidor in the Southeast. As you guys can see, rnrcigars.com. Free shipping on orders of $100 or more. Again, they've got, literally hundreds and hundreds of cigars on the website right here. 20% off any cigars you order with the purchase of any 20-count box of cigars. So you make a box, do a bundle, you're going to get even more benefits. So make sure you guys check them out. Again, they are the official cigar provider of Alabama football. So when you're seeing us smoke those cigars after beating Tennessee, that's where we get it from, rnrcigars.com. Again, that is R&R Cigars, the official cigar provider of Alabama football since 2014. Hey, Chase, I just want to make sure you still got me on your end.
Yes, I do.
All right, good deal. Sorry, I got a little notification that it was saying something was acting funny, so I just wanted to make sure that we were good there. All right, with that being said, let's go to the phone lines. 205-342-9904 is the number to the program. Up next, we got Tommy. Tommy, welcome in.
Hey, Tristan, how y'all today?
Doing great, Tommy. Did you get to check out Gray when he joined us? He's over there, obviously he's calling the game, but he gave us a really nice scoop on the whole softball tournament. I know you like that.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, since you changed your time, you're making me rush to get my chores done so I can listen to you.
Hey, wait, hold on.
Don't mess with old people.
It wasn't volunteer. Listen, it wasn't really volunteer. Well, I guess I don't know. But yeah, no. I didn't choose to do it. The station was shuffling stuff around. Blame them. Don't blame me. But
I mean,
yeah,
don't mess with old
complain
people.
to them. Hey, listen, I'm with you. I'm like you. I don't like a whole bunch of change, but it was what it was. I'm just rolling with it. But yeah, 11-1. I should have done a better job informing everybody on that. But the problem was I wasn't made aware and literally until Friday, like this past Friday. And we started Monday. So unfortunately, everybody's still kind of figuring it out as we go. But spread the word for me, Tommy, if you can. 11-1, man.
I will, but I do things in the morning, run over and do things. I listen, but like doing things, hopping in, hopping out, and getting back to the house. And I'm like, well, dadgummit, I only got 25 minutes to call in because he's going to be off at 1.
I know,
Don't
man.
need to
I
do
know.
people like that. I mean,
hey, at least I'll make sure we squeeze you in. I'll make sure now that I know your schedule, I'll make sure I squeeze you in. I know you're rushing to hop on in the second hour. I'll make sure we get you on there.
Yeah, I get my type of old pudding at 1:30. I'm set in my ways. Old people don't like to be messed with.
No,
we
I
hold
understand,
grudges. Oh, I'm just bragging you. But no, I mean, yeah, we play at 6 today. We need to get a win in softball. I mean,
yeah,
they can beat Auburn. We haven't played them all year, and we just start at South Carolina again tomorrow, and we can beat them. We can be, hey. 2 wins in the tournament will look good on the resume. And, well, we have done better in softball this year we did last year in one sense. I mean, people say, wait a minute, we made it to the World Series. Yeah, but this time last year, we only had 33 wins, and we lost the first round of the softball tournament, and we still got to host. I was shocked by it because that's the first time I ever had missed a regional in Tuscaloosa because my brother, I was helping him with his 50th class reunion, and stupid me took for granted like, they're not going to host. No, well, surprise, they hosted and they won, and they pull up an upset. And they got the resume. They beat the number 2 team in the nation at the time, took a series from them. They have won 3 series this year out of 3 out of 5. I mean, so they should host. They should be able to host the first round, no doubt in my mind, because the NCAA loves that money, and our facility is a little bit bigger than the other facility. And I figure Mississippi State, says they have done well and won the series against Alabama, they might get the host this year. So this is my free permission. I'm looking in the future, which I don't like to do, but I'll do it for softball. I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama and Mississippi State both host. If they win this regional or the sub-regional, whatever you want to call it, they play each other to get to go to the World Series. Because there's going to be too many SEC teams in the field of 64 or 68, or how many they got now.
Yeah, I mean, the SEC is stacked. Do you know anything about Auburn? I hadn't really kept up with. I don't know much about them. Are they decent? I think they're 15th.
I think they had a little tougher time. Missouri is the worst team in the SEC. I'm going to say Auburn.
They're ranked 15th right now. Yeah, they're ranked 15th right now. We're coming in at number 10, but I'm looking at you got Georgia taking on Kentucky, 12 versus 13, Ole Miss versus Missouri, 11 versus 14. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we get by 14. Them. Yeah, Missouri's 14th going into it. And then Oklahoma's number 1 rated. Grade said he feels Arkansas and A&M are the teams to look out for.
Yeah, and I'm going to put Tennessee in that category. If their pitchers get hot and they get some hitting, Tennessee's going to be hard. to be. And Tennessee, I hate to say, is remembering what happened last year. Nobody gave Alabama a chance in that Super Regional. And surprise, surprise, Alabama took 2 out of 3. I got to go to Oklahoma City. So, and this is a time. This is a time where you need to get hot. And he has a saying: to use a landing strip or runway. You know, our runway might need to get a little bit longer because we're not quite ready yet. The last few series, they have really Alabama have cut down on the errors, and they're starting to hit the ball out around the field. So,
yeah, we're going to see.
Executing. Yeah,
I'm tuning in.
Up.
Yeah, tonight, 6 p.m. Central Time, they take on Auburn, trying to face South Carolina again after just playing them last week. Did you hear us talking a little bit about the Michigan scandal thing? I mean, do you have any thoughts on that, Tommy? I'm still trying to wrap my head around why it's circling back. I mean, it seems like it's obviously not over yet. I mean, at what point do we look at that national championship that they won, Tommy, and start saying maybe we might need to take that off of them?
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm a biased human being. They're not going to penalize the Big Ten teams do like they did for SEC. Alabama had to forfeit games for a book scandal thing, and the books were returned, and the football players passed the course. I don't understand what the hell was the big deal about. Oh, they lied and got a friend for book for nothing. Well, okay, you can solve that problem. You charge them for the book. All right? I mean, but they made a federal case out of it. And we forfeit games on a book schedule thing, and that's minute. And here they are, stealing signs of the same baseball scouts and doing things what they're supposed to do and all this. Oh, our coach is not going to coach for 2 games. Oh my God. New Mexico State and I think Nebraska, somebody like that, they get to pick, we're doing the self-imposed. They're starting to sound like Auburn, Tennessee. But the Big Ten is they're not going to get punished. Oh no. Now, if Alabama did this, or Georgia, they won't be, or LSU, they won't be throwing the book at them. Oh, they should get the death penalty. They should lose 15 scholarships. All this BS.
Why do you think that is, though, Tommy? So you're saying you feel that Michigan's kind of only getting a little tap on the rear, but you're saying if it was anybody, I will say if Alabama was accused of doing something like this, especially with the dominance that we had, without a doubt, you would not hear the end of it. Crystal in our chat over on YouTube says, look how long it took the NCAA to strip the Trojans of their 2004 BCS title. That didn't happen until 2011. Dang, so that's a good point. I mean, so maybe it does end up happening at some point. But I mean, like, does it really matter, though? I mean, you quote-unquote strip them of it, and it's like, it's not like the other team starts claiming it. You know what I mean? To me, it's just like, I don't even really get the point of it at that point, you know?
Well, maybe they need to be able to strip them. They won it on the field. I know, but I remember when we played Florida up here, Urban Meyer saying we had people in the stands with binoculars still in his line. I'm like, well, hey, dummy, you haven't been to a high school or college football game and sat in the stand? People have binoculars. I'm like, you idiot. But it's always like, they are our victim. It's just like 2020. The Big Ten and the Pac-12 didn't want to have college football that year. Saban in the ACC, Matt Brown at North Carolina, and Dabo, Nick Saban, and a few others went, no, we having football. We need football. And they always say, well, y'all really didn't win a national championship that year. But I'll make the point out, and me and Chase talked about it yesterday. Yeah, they talked about that season. But they demanded that Ohio State get into the playoff, and they only play 8 games. That year, we beat them for the national championship. Alabama played 13. Tell me how Alabama is not deserving of that national championship. They're the only team that went 13-0 play a 10 game rest to SEC season, win all 10 games, and win the SEC title and beat Notre Dame, Ohio State. I don't think that's a wishy schedule.
No, it's not.
But no, Alabama doesn't deserve it. I'm like, BS. I'm calling. I mean, I can't say what I'm going to say because it would be nice, but you know.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
that's a fair point, though. I get
it. You can't separate jackass from thoroughbreds. Okay, you can tell the difference.
Fair.
They all don't look the same.
Fair.
I mean,
no. I respect it.
It's always been a buzz for the Big Ten. Look what happened to the Pac-12. In less than 2 years or 3 years, they did a storm by the Big Ten. They took USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon. They took the big names too. You know, all that. We'll see, but no. I'm going to do nothing to them. I mean, Ball and all of them are gone. They go to the NFL. All that. I will put a show clause on him. Well, he's not hardly drinking anymore. I mean, it's really silly. And it just makes you scratch your head. NCAA is just like Washington, D.C. You go up there and you become stupid. I mean,
wow.
Really.
Yeah, we'll see. No. I think you're being real. It's not too bad, man. I've heard worse, Tommy. I don't think you're being that mean. But we appreciate you as always, man. And I know you're going to enjoy that game tonight. Hopefully, we come back tomorrow with some good news and we'll be playing South Carolina. That way I can make a friendly wager with my dad, maybe.
Yeah, we beat Army. You can tell your dad South Carolina going down.
Yep. Hopefully that happens, man. I would love to have another friendly competition. You be easy, Tommy. We appreciate you, man. And don't forget the new time. 11-1, Tommy.
All right.
Good deal. Yes, sir. All right. We got to hit one last timeout. When we come back, we wrap things up on this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. All right, guys, we got one last segment. So if you got any last minute things you want to throw out there, hit us up real quick. You won't hit it on this last segment. We just got one app message from the app to hit. Other than that, we're open. Let's see. Wait, that's an interesting thing. We'll hit that tomorrow. Anonymous Colorado fan is suing the NFL over $100 million due to emotional distress that he went through while watching Shedeur Sanders fall. I mean, this stuff, you can't make this stuff up, man. That clearly is a joke. I'd hope so. Oh, here we go. We're talking about the receivers yesterday in this upcoming draft. Here's the top 10 receivers to know. Yeah, they don't even have Jeremy Bernard on this list. But you got a guy like why do I keep forgetting? I'm so bad with names. It's not even funny. Why I keep wanting to say Field Yates. It's not Field Yates, bro. I don't know why I keep thinking Field Yates. It's golly, man. What is his name, man? Todd McShay. Golly. Todd McShay had Jeremy Bernard as the number 2 receiver, but according to PFF, they don't even really have. Not really. They don't have him as a top 10 receiver to know for the 26 NFL draft. That's why I was saying, guys, like I know I seemed a little harsh, and I was like, I don't think he's a first round. It's just me just being completely transparent because I just know how the draft works. A lot of people, they're all just like Quinn Ewers deemed, first rounder. Carson Bay, deemed first rounder. I mean, look at this quarterback class this past year. All those guys, Dylan Gabriel, people talked about him maybe being a first rounder. Heisman conversation. I mean, it just never goes like it's not a popularity contest, you know. Eric Singleton from Auburn. What number is he? I got to go back and look. Probably created by Bama haters. Probably so. Let's see who else. Kevin Concepcion. It's quite the last name. It's probably bad. I don't know half these people on this list. Maybe that's a me problem. Maybe I need to tune into some more of these games. We'll see though. We will see. All right, we're about to come back here. About 3 seconds. 3, 2.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this Talking Tuesday edition of Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC, presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Arch Sport Experts. Wrapping things up, Chase. I know we're about to hit this app message. Real quick, breaking news. Florida basketball coach Todd Golden, again, who was head coach at the national championship winning Florida Gators, has agreed to a new 6-year contract through 2031. Congrats to him. Obviously, he had a really, really solid basketball team this year. They won national championship, and they brought it home to the SEC. Obviously, I'd much rather it been us, but hey, it stays in the SEC. So I'll find the positives any chance that I can. All right, Chase, let's see what Tia's got to say in that app inbox as we wrap things up.
You got it, Christian. She said, back to my power comment of yesterday. When you say the most powerful coach in college football, I meant like, who are we sending to speak to the masses about our sport? This is why I said there really isn't anyone to fill Nick Saban's shoes yet.
I agree with that. And I saw, I think Pate had did a video with something like that. So I get where you're going with it. I agree. And that's why I was a little slow to answer, because I just genuinely couldn't really think of anybody that has that type of aura. You know what I mean? That has that type of respect. And I don't know how long it's going to take for someone to step up like that. I mean, but really though, you got to win a lot, right? You got to win a lot to be, and not even just win though. You just kind of have to be that. You got to have it in you. Like Coach Saban's just got something to him, right? Like I would argue, even if Coach Saban didn't win the amount of national championships that he won, say he just won one national championship, he has something about him, right? I mean, like even that's why there was a lot of talk, even when he only had that one coming from LSU, he still was highly regarded. There's just something about him. You know what I mean? All right, Ryan Day, he just won his first national championship. He doesn't have that same kind of aura about him. You know what I mean? What's his name? Guy from LSU, Ogeron. He won a national championship. He had aura, but it was because his Cajun accent. Chase, you're from Louisiana. You know about that probably a little bit, but his coach has something about him too. So I don't know. I mean, I think that's why I also named Kirby yesterday, because to me, Kirby is the closest thing to Coach Saban. Just kind of how he carries himself, how he operates, how he runs his team. Still a lot different, but I mean, compared to anybody else, I don't even know who else I'd really throw out there. I don't know. I saw some people on the other responses. They were throwing out Deion Sanders, though. Chase, what do you think about that? Deion Sanders being the most powerful coach. You think he's still a little bit of ways from that? I mean, obviously, he covers the influence part, right? I mean, he's got the influence, he's got the voice, he's got the aura, different type of aura, way different. But I don't know. I mean, do you think Deion's even in that conversation, Chase? What do you think?
I think so. You look at his coaching career, his influence on the game of football. I think sometimes we have to look outside of college football because a lot of people are coming to that sport kind of trying to learn about it. And when you ask somebody who Deion Sanders is, they're like, oh, he influenced college football through this, through that. He was on reality TV shows, like he was growing the sport. So I think if he starts to win, I think last year was such a letdown because they had the roster and they could have went far in
Yeah.
their conference. I think that would have helped a lot. But I think if we give Dion time, I think he could be on the level before everybody freaks out of Nick Saban in terms of like the
Whoa.
influence and in terms of like affecting change. Not saying like the winning part, because I don't think anybody will ever hit that feat, especially where we are right now with college football. But yeah, I would say Deion Sanders with his influence, his marketing ability, his how he speaks to the media, how he's able to really he's an ambassador, I would say, for college football.
See, that's that's like the caveat, right? Like depending on how we're really narrowing this down, right? I mean, like I get where you're going, like in terms of most powerful, most influential, like you definitely have to put Dion in that conversation. But to me, like and I get it, he's had success at Jackson State and going to Colorado, turn those programs around. But there's a difference between like just turning the program around and saying, oh yeah, they got a good team, right? And he's building something versus, I mean, the guy we're comparing, or the guys, excuse me, no, the guy, referring to Coach Saban, who is kind of like the model right here. Countless national championships, right? You know what's crazy, Chase? I always forget. 7 total, but 6 here. For some reason, I always am like, I'm like, wait, is it 6 or 7? Is 6 here, right? Why am I second guessing myself? 6 here, 1 at LSU, so 7. And I don't know if I'm just tripping, but for some reason, I'm like, wait, am I tripping on that? Was it 5? Hold on, let me just make sure I get this right because I'm not going to embarrass myself. Already doing it by having to recount this. What was it? 2009, 11, 12, 15, 17, 20. Yeah. Okay. 7. All right. I don't know why I was for some reason that. Okay. Anyway, it's because it's been a long show, which leads me to tell you guys. Unfortunately, we got to get out of here. We got to make room. We got Wyatt coming up next. Got to get used to saying that. It used to be Ryan. We got Wyatt coming up next. Appreciate everybody. All the folks in the chat. Always shout out to you guys, our listeners on the app, on radio, all that good stuff. Appreciate Chase behind the glass running the ship. And that being said, we'll be back here tomorrow again, 11 to 1, new showtime. Don't forget, 11 to 1, live on YouTube, live on Tide 100.9, all that good stuff. So download that app. Check us out on YouTube at The Miller's Edge if you like the visuals. And we will see you guys tomorrow right here, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. All right, guys, that'll do it for us. Again, thank you guys. Big thanks to you guys. Again, 11 to 1 weekdays will be here just like we are live on the radio. We just finished that. But please, if you guys haven't, subscribe, like the video, share it with all your friends, Bama fans, whoever, college football fans, college sports fans, because we want to keep growing this thing, doing it every day. This is the new schedule. We'll be here live Monday through Friday, same times that we're doing the radio, like we've been doing it. And again, if y'all got things you want to ask in the chat, you've got even articles, stuff like that, send them to us. You can follow us on X at The Miller's Edge. If you ever see anything you want us to discuss, we want to have it like that. We want to bring it to you guys where it's like you guys are sending us content, reacting to it, discussing all that good stuff. So that's the plan. That's the game plan. So now you guys know that. Keep that in mind. But again, appreciate everything that you guys do, all the support. We'll see you guys tomorrow right here on YouTube and also Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC.